Hi, my name is Andy Duckworth, and I'm the coordinator of e-learning at Tacoma Community College. And I wanted to create a video to kind of show how I'm using Yahoo pipes to pull specific tags or specific content using tags from different web repositories out on the internet. My hope is that by setting up this piece, it'll make it easy for faculty to find learning objects that they want to include in their courses. And I'm also trying to encourage, as a side note, I'm working on a tagging project, where I'm trying to encourage people to implement this tag right here, WACTC, into any content they create and put on the web, like in YouTube or Flickr, or if they're using delicious bookmarks, to use this tag so that it'll help them refine the search, and they're able to find specific content a little easier than just doing a straight Google search and finding everything. So anyway, to start this off, I had never really used Yahoo Pipes before, but I decided to tinker with it for this project and see if it would be useful. And I've had some pretty positive results with it. So I started out by using a text input piece. This little box right here allows the user to input their own text. And to search for a specific tag. I am going to refine this, and I think, and I'll probably end up updating this video at some later date, but I plan on making the WACTC tag a static tag that is always included in the search, and then allowing the end user to enter in additional tags. So if they want to refine the search even more, so it would always show WACTC, but then they could put in English or biology or something like that. So right now it's just set for WACTC, but they can put in whatever tag they want. And what happens once they've input that text, the pipe that element is piped out, and we'll start to a URL builder, and you see there's a few URL builders here. I'll start with the delicious one here, so because that one's pretty basic. So anyway, the text is piped out into a path element here that essentially adds the WACTC tag to the end of the base URL. And you can see when I click here and go down here to the debug screen, you'll see here that basically it's taken this base URL and added WACTC. And it's pretty simple. And then I just feed that pipe on down to the fetch feed area, where it pulls in feed URLs to output to the final pipe output to create a feed page that pulls from all these different sites that I have. The second place I decided I wanted to search from was YouTube, and building that piece was a little more difficult. Not difficult really, but just it required different parameters. They require a .rss at the end of their URL, so you have the tag and then .rss at the end. So I had to use a string builder to take my tag piece, pop it down to the string builder so that it'll add the .rss, which then gets piped down to the base URL and added to the base URL for YouTube. So when I click on that and I look down here at the debug screen, you'll see that it adds the WACTC.rss. And then for Flickr, had to do something a little bit differently with Flickr, and they have a base URL. I was able to pipe the tag out to it, but they add tags as a query parameter to the end of the URL. So when I click on this, and you'll see down here, it looks different than the other two, where I have my base URL, which ends in .gne, and then adds a question mark tags equals WACTC, and then it'll pull out anything from Flickr that includes that tag. Then all of these are fed to the fetch feed URL, and you'll notice it's picking up some content that I really don't want to display. So I'm going to have to work on filtering this a little bit so that certain things are eliminated. Although once a person adds WACTC and adds an additional tag, a lot of this it gets refined to such an extent that some of this junk doesn't show up. But anyway, that fetch feed is sent out to the pipe output, and if I go to the pipe itself, so I'm going to go back to my pipes, and then click on the link here. Then you'll see here the feed basically that is pulled from these various sites that I was looking for. So Delicious, YouTube, and Flickr. And I plan to add additional sites. Scribed I know is one, SlideShare is another, and I'm going to look at TeacherTube and see about adding that as well. As long as they can push out a feed based on user tag input, I should be able to add it to the pipe and have it output to this RSS. And you see here, a lot of these links are mine that I've re-tagged in Delicious. And I need to put descriptions, you can see, because it's not really meaningful if it doesn't have the descriptions there. But you can see I'm pulling 37 items when I'm searching WACTC. Now I tagged my items with WACTC and e-learning. So if I go in here and change this to e-learning and run the pipe, then you'll see that I'm getting 31 items. And the nice thing about this is it's refining it a bit. So it's searching for things that people in our Washington Association of Community and Technical Colleges system, if they use this tagging structure, it'll show everything that they have tagged as e-learning. And if I were to go in here and just remove the WACTC, then you see I end up getting 71 items from there. So it eliminated 40 items. It allowed me to refine the search a little bit more. And if I were to search on Google, I'm sure the results would be significantly higher. So it just allows you to kind of refine, user to refine that search and kind of allow us to as a system to maybe tag things that we find meaningful within the system, so that searches can be refined and objects can be found easier. I mean, this can be, if you want to do a general search, Google will be great without using any additional tag, just by searching e-learning or just by searching English, let's say. But this piece almost adds a bit of a peer review to it, because you know that somebody in the system, an instructor or a coordinator or e-learning coordinator or somebody like that, has looked at the item and found it and look and kind of analyze the item a bit before it was added, the tag was added and sent in the system. And it's not a perfect system, but at least it refines it a bit, so that you don't have to go through, say, a million items in Google, or a large number of items in just a straight Google search. The other nice thing about this is that once this feed here has been refined, I can create badges based on embed badges, essentially based on certain search criteria. So I could do WACTC English, let's say, create a badge, and then if the English department wants to have that information posted on their departmental webpage for faculty, it's just an easy way for them, once they're on that page, maybe navigating to that page already, it's an easy way for them to see different objects that may be useful for their courses. So anyway, I hope this was useful, and I'm going to be posting this in my blog. So if you have any questions or comments, just add them to the blog. Thanks.